I'll say it before and I'll say it again. This RNG event has done many, many things to this game. Some good, some bad, mostly bad, but that's besides the point. There's actually something really, really good this event did, and unfortunately, the effects of it are going to die off very, very soon. Now, I'm sure some people have noticed this, but not everyone has actually noticed it because they don't actually pay attention to these statistics. Let me take you on over to this website called Rollymons, and I will show you these statistics. So if I type Pet Simulator inside of the search bar, and I click on Pet Simulator 99, down here you will see the player count history for the game. Now this is for the last week. Now this doesn't really do justice what I want to show basically. This basically just shows the graph from the players from the last week, and as you can see it's pretty much been about the same. What's really going to do me justice though is if I switch to the hourly. Now as you can see there's this graph right here that stretches all the way back to July 23rd, which is a month ago. And basically, you can see that these little spikes right here are updates. So obviously, when an update happens, the players spike up for a little bit, and then they go right back down. And then these little bumps are basically just the most active times of the day, like when the most people are playing the game. And then the lows are obviously when the least amount of people are playing the game. So around morning time, at least for me, is when it seems like most people are playing the game, and then kind of going into the evening and nighttime is when less people are playing. Now you'll see that the players before this RNG update were actually kind of low. They were getting up to around 95,000 daily at its highest point, and then not reaching any further. Like it didn't break 100,000 on a regular basis. And then on the lows, you could even see it get as low as like in the 65,000 range. Now, I actually saw this thing on Twitter where basically someone said that big games went from trendsetters to trend followers. And, I can kind of see where this is coming from because of this RNG event, but it's actually worked really well. It has worked so much to their benefit that when they launched the RNG update right here, the player count spiked up and it stayed up, sometimes even going higher than when the update first came out. As you can see, this is the next day around the same time that the update came out. It had been a full 24 hours and it had surpassed the peak from the previous day. Now the gaps between players are a little bit bigger as you can see, but the player count is staying up around 200,000 daily. Now obviously the reason why this happened is because of the RNG event, but why did the RNG event cause the players in Pet Sim to basically double, maybe even a little more? It's also made people more hyped for the updates, as the last update we had saw a peak of around, oh god, I can't even hit the peak, it's so short, but anyways, it probably saw somewhere around 350,000 people playing the game at once. Yep, there we go, I got it to work, I just had to shrink the graph. 344,000 people at once. Pet Sim hasn't had that many people waiting for an update in forever. And now let me actually switch to the daily amount here so we can see all of the statistics for Pet Sim 99. And as you can see, I'm going to shrink this down just so you can see the graph right here. This is when the game came out right here. And as you can see, it was averaging really, really high player count numbers just because the game had first came out. Updates were coming out and players were getting really, really hyped for them. Not as hype as Pet Sim X days, but players are getting really, really hyped for them, and these players stayed high. But as you can see, it quickly dropped down, mainly because of the tri-weekly updates. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but mainly, I guess, the tri-weekly updates once every 3 weeks or something like that. Mainly just because of that is why the players dropped. But anyways, players just kept dropping, and, as you can see, it carried basically the same exact graph of around, like, 60,000 at the lowest. And then as you can see, this RNG event's brought it back up to around 200,000 average, which this game has not seen these numbers since the game first came out. So yeah, what you're going to want to take away from this is that hopping on trends still can be very beneficial and always has been. It doesn't matter if you're some huge game studio that I guess used to be trendsetters. Are you serious? It doesn't matter if you're some huge game studio, hopping on trends can always be beneficial at some point. And yeah, that is the main reason why the game's player count was actually revived. It's just because RNG games right now are a trend. I mean, take a look at Souls RNG. Even though I don't like the game, I kind of have to appreciate it for how they actually lured a bunch of people into playing it. I mean, that game is constantly sitting at 100,000 players. This game has double that just because it's Pet Simulator, but you know what I mean. That's why I do think that at least for a little bit, the Pet Simulator RNG game is going to succeed. At least for a little bit, at least until people just get bored of it or want to go back to regular Pet Sim. Now, is it going to become the next biggest RNG game and surpass Souls RNG? No, probably not. Souls RNG will probably always be the biggest. But it's fun to think that a simple little RNG trend thing brought this game back to the players that it used to get. Now, knowing the developers, they don't listen to the community at all, but they do listen to numbers and they listen to money. So, you know what? Maybe they'll start to hop on more trends. Who knows? I had to take some shots at them there because that's the only way they seem to ever listen. But anyways, that is how Pet Sim got revived from this event. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.